Hey guys, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with your free NBA previews and predictions for Wednesday, January 20th. Hope you're having yourself a good start to your hump day. As always, don't forget, subscribe to this channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner. All right, guys, if you go to atsstats.com, if you look on the front page, you'll see a picture of Luka Doncic right here. We're giving away 53 tips here on tonight's NBA games. In fact, just click on the link and you'll see we have a great 81.2% angle on the game between Dallas and the Indiana Pacers. And also, we got a lot of other great tips that you can get for free. Basically betting systems and angles and trends, and it's all free right here at atsstats.com. Also, if you want the free Raymond Report, go to NBA, go to free reports. And if you want to learn the Raymond Report betting system, just give this a quick read right here. It'll give you a nutshell version on what it's about, and you'll see that everything is based on value, percentage play, and the performance cycles. All right, let's take a look at game number one, taking on the Dallas Mavericks and the Indiana Pacers. We just talked about Luka there, and now the Mavericks really a 3-game losing streak now. Didn't look good in their last game against the Raptors, and really didn't look good the game before that. In fact, that was a blowout loss. I think it was Chicago, 117 to 101. So, things are not going good. Hardaway needs to get back in that lineup. You need all the pieces to the puzzle. And right now, Dallas is missing a few pieces. They go into this one, though, with a bit of respect from the bookmaker. A 1-point road favorite. Over-under at 218. ATS forecast. Going to lean with the Mavs here. 106. No, actually, it's going to lean with the Pacers. 107 to 106. The over-under at 214. So it does like it to go under the total. The Mavericks are 5-5 in their last 10, 6-4 against the number, 3-7. So 70% of the Mavs games have gone under the total in their last 10 games. On the value index of the Raymond Report, we do have more value favoring the Pacers here. We had them at minus 3.12, but the chance of winning the game, I'm going to give a slight lean to, a 71.4% lean to the Dallas Mavericks. And keep in mind, you're getting a team that's lost 3 games in a row straight up and 2 ATS, so you're going to get a chance of covering the percentage play in their favor. Dallas at 56% and the Kogo at 62%. Kogo on the Raymond Report stands for chance of game going over the total, but again, you need all your pieces to the puzzle if you're going to play Indiana tonight. Hardaway, game time decision with a groin, so keep an eye out on that. Let's take a look at the latest line moves here on tonight's game between the Pacers and the Mavericks, and this total opened up at 218.5. And that's where we're at 217. So money, early leans coming in on the under, and looking at the total or the side, -1 for Pacers, and it flipped over to the Mavericks. So that's always an interesting angle, right? When the bookmakers open up the game -1 for the Pacers, and then the public pushes it to the other side, who are you going to believe? That's the $64 million question, right? Looking at the PVI SOS, which stands for Parity Value Index, Strength of Schedule. So when the Pacers are at home against a C-type team like the Mavericks are, they're 1-2 straight up, 1-2 against the number. And looking at some of the numbers here, Pacers on 2 days rest, and any any home dog of Pick'em to +3, 3-1 to the over so far. Not a lot of volume, but when the Mavericks travel to Indiana, 3-7 straight up, 4-6 to the number, 3-7-0 to the under. So guys, under is getting a lot of attention right here. And I don't know. To me, Hardaway has to play. And I can't see Dallas continue this slide. And Pacers in their last game, coming off a 129-96 loss to the Clippers. And, they lost Oladipo. And they're rebuilding again, I guess you can say. Hate to use that word rebuilding on a team like Indiana, who's always had a winning record the last few years. But obviously, things are going well, or you wouldn't have traded Victor, right? Mavericks, guys, and under probably the lean I'm looking at right now. All right, Kyrie should be back tonight for Brooklyn, and we'll see how that goes. Harden and Durant had a great game last game. Now, could this be a classic letdown spot here for the Nets, coming off that 123-125 victory over the Bucks? There's a chance, right? Cleveland, looking at the Cavaliers, trying to see who's going to be in the lineup. Kevin Love is out. So you got Drummond, Nance, Okoro, Sexton, and Garland game time decisions. So, you're going to have some big guys there with Drummond for sure. Now, looking at the forecast in this game. Now, Brooklyn going in this one as a 10-point favorite, over under at 223. Forecast going to lean with Brooklyn here, but only by about 3 points. 111 to 108, over under at 219. The Cavs 3-7 straight up and against the number in their last 10 game. But look at this. This is tell me the law of average doesn't exist, right? This 9-1 to the over for the Nets in the last 10, but look at this, 9-1 to the under for the Cavaliers. It's just amazing how sometimes that sneaks up on you. Now the value index here, -6 for the Nets, and bookmakers want 10 out of you if you like Brooklyn, right? Be careful, because I think they're overvalued. If Kyrie plays tonight, now the chemistry, how's that going to affect it? Because now who was it? I said Rudy Gobert said in his post there on Twitter, right? Oh, when he got traded, Harden got traded because there's only one ball, right? Yeah, there's only one ball, but we saw last game, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is probably the best player in the NBA right now. Looking at the way he's playing, he's just playing out of his mind. And he's 88% at the free throw line. So Kevin Durant, do not sleep on him. Looking at the chance of winning, 62.5% for the Nets, 60% chance of covering for Cleveland, and that's where I'm leaning right now so far. Looking at the Kogels at 45%, meaning a 55% chance of this game going under the total. Let's take a look at the total right now, 222.5, and it's up to 224 at one point, but it's coming down. So again, a bit of a yo-yo effect right there. And open up at 9, and it's up to 10 right now. So guys, I'm probably leaning towards Cleveland right now on a small lean. And it's just basically with Kyrie coming back, it's going to take time to, for that dynamic to be playing out with their teammates. And we'll see how they use it, right? Looking at Brooklyn's record in Cleveland, 3-7 straight up, but 7-3 against the number. And in the last 10 head-to-head matches, Cleveland is 5-5 straight up. Not a bad record when you think about it, right? Now, here's the thing. Cleveland's on 4 days rest. So they're well rested today. But is there going to be any rest? That's the only thing I'm a little concerned about there. All right, let's go to the next game here. Boston taking on Philadelphia. Still no Jason Tatum in the lineup here for the Celtics. Still the COVID-19 protocol list. Sixers, -4 point home favorite. Over-under at 220. ATS forecast, the computer pick, going to lean with the Sixers here, 110 to 104, over under at 214.55. And, once the trade was made to get James Harden, the top 4 teams in that Eastern Conference, Boston, Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, this is going to be a good testing matchup here tonight because it's just too bad Tatum's not playing because you get a real good feel on maybe playoff, situation coming down the road. But this will be a good one. And in playoffs, you're going to get games where, your top players are out, right? So let's see what's going to happen. Philly, looks like they got everybody going today. So this should be a good lineup. -4 is the number. We have it winning by 6. Over under 214. Looking at the last 10 games for each of these teams. Boston, though, 7-3 straight up. But coming off, that was a bad loss to the Knicks. I had the Celtics that game. And I think what happened, the game prior to that, they beat the Magic. And I think they underestimated the New York Knicks, and they got smoked, 105 to 75. So, they're gonna have to really show up tonight, and because there's no when you play the Sixers, it's bring your lunch bucket because you're gonna have to work. Chance of winning does favor Philly tonight at 79.1. The chance of covering at 62% for the Sixers. We have the value index at -2, so -2.54, and you're laying 4. So Philly's a bit overvalued here tonight. Boston -125, but again, no Tatum, right? Anytime you play these big games, you want your best players in the lineup. So this is going to be a tough one here. Looking at the last time these two teams met, it was on, let me see, it was in the bubble. Okay, I thought they played a little bit earlier this year, but maybe not. 110-106 win. So I thought, for some reason, I thought the Celtics and the Sixers played earlier this year. I'll have to check my my records again. Maybe not. Maybe they haven't played yet. Let me see here on the last games. Boston, Philadelphia. Nope, they haven't played, so it looks like it's going to be the first game this year. All right. So looking at the away record, 6-4 straight up, 5-4-1, 3-7-0 to the under when Boston plays in Philly. And the last 10 head-to-head matches, look at this, 70% of those games head-to-head either in Boston or Philly have gone under the total. And just trying to see if there's any other numbers sticking out here. You know what? I think Philly's the call here. What's their chance of covering the percentage play? Percentage play is at 62%. So they do have the percentage play in their favor. And what's their last game? 104, 106. That Grizzlies team, I tell you, they're competitive. They're a very competitive team. Them in Charlotte, no matter what, they're always worth a look. Them in Chicago, there's always, you ever notice when you're handicapping sports, baseball, hockey, whatever, there's always that those 2-3 teams that, they seem to, people think that, they're flying under the radar. There's no value. Right now, Chicago, Memphis, Charlotte are 3 teams that when they're playing, I'm looking at their line because I feel there's always a chance to cover. Maybe not win, but really well cover the spread. And, coaching. Coaching makes a big difference. Look at Billy Donovan, what he's doing in Chicago, right? So big difference when I'm looking at those angles. All right, let's go to the next one here. Pistons taking on Atlanta. Now, Detroit, 107-113 loss in their last game to the Heat. That was a competitive game. They were leading at one point. But the game before, they beat Miami. Obviously, no Jimmy Butler in the lineup for Miami. COVID-19 protocol list. But going into tonight's game, Atlanta, this Atlanta team started on fire, but now it's really cooled off. Their what's their record on the year? 6-7, 2-11 to the under. The thing with Atlanta, they got to get healthy. Like they look at their injury. Trae Young, game time decision. Reddish, game time decision. Hunter, game time decision. Let me see. Bogdanovich out. Dunn out. Gallinari out. Like you there comes a point where you got to be physically fit and ready to play a very grueling schedule. And I'm questioning if Atlanta, conditioning wise, mentally, physically, if they are ready for the grind, right? Let's be honest. If you've played professional sports, college, even high school, and you're always the porcelain guy, you can't be the porcelain guy. You gotta be showing up and taking care of your body and putting good food into your body so that and fundamentals. Like I coach football, and I know from coaching football, guys who are injured all the times, poor fundamentals because they always put themselves in a situation to get injured, right? Balance plays a big role into athleticism. If you're off balance and you're tweaking things, then you got to fix your fundamentals of what you're doing. So that's one thing I'm keeping an eye out on Atlanta. I just feel like they're always injury issues, always injury. I hate that. And turnovers. Like you watched the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks last game. They came out of the halftime inbounding the ball, and they turned it over in an inbound on a halftime. The coach almost he just put his hands over his eyes and he says, "I can't believe this." You can't be doing that. Those are things, and I'm noticing this in the NBA season. Teams are so unfocused and they're turning over the ball, and fatigue is playing a big role. But come on, you're coming off a halftime, you're inbounding the ball, and you turn the ball over on an inbound. Give me a break. All right, let's take a look at this. Chance of winning 56% for the Hawks, 60% chance of covering. Kogo at 66%. Looking at the Hawks, 9 games I've gotten under the total. What a streak right there. In the history between the Pistons and Atlanta, 6-4, 6-3 against the spread when the Pistons travel to visit the Hawks, but 9-1 to the over. So somebody's got to give here tonight. But you know what? I'm taking Detroit. Give me 4.5 Detroit because this team in Atlanta right now, they're frustrating to watch. They got so much talent they can't put it together, and they're just a turnover machine. All right, enough of that rant. Miami taking on the Raptors. Speaking of rants, supposedly it was pretty heated between Lowry and Nurse at halftime between the Raptors in the last game. But it worked out for them. And sometimes, what's that old saying? I heard it once. It's a great saying. If it doesn't come out in the wash, it comes out in the rinse. Well, it came out in the rinse at halftime last game for the Raptors. And, when you've had a great teams and things aren't going your way, they say team sports doesn't build character, it reveals it. And we're starting to see a bit of, I'm a Raptors guy. I love the Raptors. I live here in Canada. But I'll tell you one thing, and I wish they would stop whining. As a coach, especially me as a coach, watching another coach and Nick Nurse, I love the guy. I think he's a great coach. I think, he does phenomenal things in the community. But quit the whining, man. Quit the whining, because if your head coach is whining, your players are going to see that and they're going to start whining, and it's just a domino effect. So I wish the Toronto Raptors would just stop whining after a bad call doesn't go their way. It's absolutely frustrating to watch. You want to throw your drink at the TV and just say, shut up and play on, man. Just, move on. But, I feel like it's a ranting Wednesday or something. I'm just going on these rants. I don't know. Maybe it's it's been the cabin fever too long. Got to get out. All right, -4 is the spread here. 222 is the over/under. ATS forecast going to lean with the Raptors here. 111 to 105 over/under at 216.49. Looking at some of these numbers to stick out. -1.13 is the value index here on the Raptors, so they're a bit overvalued here at 4. 3.99 for the Heat. So if you do like Miami, and keep in mind this is in some way it's a battle of Florida, right? Because Toronto's playing in Tampa, so it's not a long trip for the Heat, just going upstate, up the road, up the highway, and playing in Tampa. Plus 3.99. So there is value if you like the Heat. Chance of winning going to the Raptors at 69%. 77% chance of covering for the Heat compared to 68 for the Raptors. Raptors on a 3-game win streak right now. Man, that was a quiet win streak. I didn't see that coming. Mavericks, Hornets. Yeah, those 2 Hornets wins, right? So, again, 2-8 straight up in their last 10 when they travel to face the Toronto Raptors, but they're not in Toronto right now. So I don't know how much weight I'll put into that. But look at this, 7-3 to the over in the last 10 head-to-head matches. What's the Kogo at? Kogo at 31%. So Kogo likes it to go under. So maybe I don't know, Miami plus the points may be worth a look here. All right, let's take a look at the next game here. Enough ranting on the Raptors. All right, Orlando taking on the T-Wolves now. Minnesota on a 2-game losing streak, where Orlando on a 6-game losing streak. Ever since they lost Fultz, man, it's just been going down, right? And I said that. He was 20% of their starting offense from their first 5. So anytime you lose an impact player like that, it takes a few games, in this case, a couple of weeks to really get back on track, right? So they haven't really, found the W column of late. But looking at the forecast tonight, we got them as a 3-point road favorite, over/under 216, 108 to 103. So it does like the Magic to win tonight, 2-8. But this is 2 teams that are really trying to find a victory, right? Just find some consistency in building wins. 1-9. 1-9 straight up in the last 10, 3-7 against the spread. Both teams are 3-7 against the numbers. So guys, be careful on the point spread. But eventually, the good news is one team's got to win tonight and cover. So, okay, good. There's a hook there. I was going to say maybe a push would be there, but no. All right, chance of winning 57.1% for the Magic, 58% chance of covering for Orlando, 63 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now I want to see the. Let me see here is. Okay, still no Cat's not playing yet. So, yeah, you know what? Orlando, I don't know. Let's see the latest line moves on this one. Maybe this is one I wait till game time. 219. So money, early indicators pointing to the under. Maybe that's where I'm leaning. 51%. So the Kogo, that's not bad. I like that. And but look at this. Teams on road teams on 1 day's rest that are 3.5 to 6-point road favorites. 14-5 straight up. 12-7 against the number. So that's interesting. You know what? Early lean to the Magic. All right, let's take a look at Suns taking on the Rockets. Now, Houston 2-game losing streak. Where same thing with Phoenix. Phoenix, you know what? They started the season off strong, but the last couple of games they're letting teams hang around. They don't have that put your foot on the throat mentality, and just like when you get a lead, you got to really open it up. We saw what Chicago did last week in OKC, right? They had an 18-point lead. And you got to get that killer instinct, and you got to learn how to close out games. What's that movie? ABC, Always Be Closing. Well, the same thing with the Suns. You need to be closing here, especially as a 5.5-point road favorite. Over/under at 218. Forecast here 118 to 113. Over/under at 232.04. Liking the look at this, 3-10, 3-7 against the spread, 2-7-1 to the under. Value index though. We'll give a bit of overvalue price here on the Suns, -4.31. Chance of winning 66% compared to 46%. And the Kogo at 58% chance of game going over. The chance of covering, the percentage play does favor Houston at 67%. You know what? I do like Phoenix though. I'm not gonna lie. I like the Suns here. What's their record? But 2-8 straight up against. Yeah, but Houston's not the same Houston, right? Houston 9-1 their last 10, but I always say that it's not the same Houston. But you know what hasn't changed? The bookmaker. The bookmaker line hasn't changed. So anytime you see these records like against the spread, it's not Houston against Phoenix. It's the bookmaker's line that day against his mindset today. Inside the numbers, right? You got to get inside those numbers, see what's happening. Let me take a look down here. Last game, 108. Yeah, there's that Grizzlies team again, right? Grizzlies and Hornets, man. I'm telling you, you just keep watching. All they do is cover games. They're like OKC last year. But I'll give a short nod to the Suns here. All right, same thing here. San Antonio. That's another team that all they do is just win and cover, right? What's their 9-5 against the spread, 8-6 straight up. So up against Golden State. Golden State, you know what? Man, it's good to have Curry back, right? Because Steph is really showing that he's an elite player. And when you miss a big piece of the puzzle like that out of your lineup, and look at that, 115-113 win over the Lakers. And going into this one, though, they're a 1-point favorite, over under at 217. ATS forecast sees a draw here, 115.95, 115.1, over under at 231. 6-4 straight up, both teams against the spread and straight up. So watch out for that. 3-7 to the under for Golden State. That's always funny. Every time you see like a power offensive team like Golden State have an under record, it tells you the bookmaker's trying to pull a quick one on you. That's why you got to pay attention, right? 75% chance of winning going to the Warriors, 60% chance of covering, and 61% chance of this game going over the total tonight at Golden State in Oakland. All right, let's take a look at the total here. 219 opened up and 227. So, every time I see this, I think it's like the bookmaker made a mistake and just, got trigger happy on the keyboard there. 226 and a half, 227, 229 at 1 point and a half, and it's down to 2. I'll have to check it. I'm pretty sure it's 228. I'll just do a quick look on some of my sources just to make sure I get the right total. And this is when you're dealing with feeds and all that. You never know, right? But I'll get back to that in a second. Let's take a look at the other records here. San Antonio, they don't have a lot of luck when they go into Oakland. In fact, they are 2-8 straight up, 5-5 against the number, but 7-2-1 to the over. Now, the total I'm seeing here in this game, San Antonio Golden State, 228. So yeah, so this is, I don't know why we're showing 217 here. It's 228. Let me see here. So 228 right here. All right, so just wanted to clarify that. Overall record. Oh, here's something interesting. Teams on 1 day's rest and pick them to -3 home favorite, 5-13 to the under. And look at this, road dogs 6-13. So on 1 day's rest. So that's an interesting fact. Looking at the last game these two teams played, it was New Year's Eve, and the Spurs won 117-113 at San Antonio. You know what? I do like San Antonio. I'm not going to lie. I do like the Spurs. I love, what's that player? Malik Hill, I think it's called. Where is that player? Ultras? No. Yeah, there's a really player, the bench player on the Spurs I really love when he comes off. I thought his name was Malik Hill. I think it's Malik Hill. I'm not sure. But, yeah, looking at this game here, guys, I'm going to lean with the Spurs. I think, I think the forecast might have it right. It's just looking at their last couple of games, 125-104 over Portland, 103-91, 105-109. So those are tough ones. Those back-to-back games against the same team. Thunder, 102-112. So, this one here, that's a game that they melded in, that one there, right? That's a game they probably melded in. But I still like the Spurs here tonight. All right, Memphis. There's that Memphis team I was telling you about. Watch out for these guys. And John Morant's back, so it makes them much better. Portland, a 1-point favorite, though. That's an interesting. Anytime I see a 1-point favorite on a home team like that, tells me it's basically a pick'em game, right? Or it could have been a 1 point for Memphis, and the bookmakers want to see. They're testing the market to see how much action they can get on Portland, or because let's say if they made Memphis a 1-point favorite, right? What's your mindset like? Then you're thinking, okay, then the bookmaker's like, okay, if we put Memphis a 1-point favorite, they're going to garner too much action, then we'll have to switch the line and make more people, bet this here. So that's something that I always thought about. 117-112 favoring Memphis. Looking at the value index, minus 0.26. So right there, market value. Both these teams are fair market value. And again, you know what? If you do like Memphis tonight, take the +1. But if you like Portland, take the money line. Why settle for a 1 point? Say it's a 1 point win for Portland, and this year will kill you, right? Spend an extra $7 maybe, and take the pick 'em, and then this way you get if you win, you win. Let's take a look at the line moves on this game. 222 went to 221, -1, so -1, so it stays right there. But 2-8 for Memphis and 4-5-1 against the number. Looking at Memphis, what's their streak on these days? 5 straight up wins. See, now we're playing with house money, right? Anytime you 5 straight up win, 5 ATS win, But here's my rule. My golden rule of streaks, right? And here it is. If you follow streaks and you see a game like this, you're either with them or you get off the game. You don't go against them because you never know when a streak's going to end. So, having said that, probably going to take Memphis because they're part of the big three that just made you money all year. So give me Memphis plus the points tonight. And finally, let's get to your next one here. The Kings taking on the Clippers. Man, this is a long video today. -10, the over-under at 215.5 ATS forecast. Gonna lean with the Clippers here, 118 to 107. The over-under at 226. Clippers 7-3 straight up and 6-4 against the number the last 10. Buddy Buckets and the Kings there. I don't know what's going on with my Kings here lately. They're there's always that one team you love to cheer for. To me, it's Sacramento. I think they got a bunch of young guys that are talented and they're fun to watch. DeAndre Fox. Who else on that team there? You got Barnes, or let me see here. Where are you there, Sacramento? Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Barnes, Bagley, and Holmes, right? Hassan Whiteside still a game time decision. Yeah, I hope he plays tonight. That'll be a big. You need the big guy in the middle there. So looking at the teams here, 2-8 straight up in the last and against the spread. So really killing the bettors these days is the Kings. 8-2 to the over, 7-3 to the over for the Clippers. So combined they're 15-5 to the over. So guys, maybe the under is where you want to lean because the bookmakers see that, and that's why the code goes only at 16%. So I think there's value on the under here tonight. And if I were to play this game, that's where I'd be leaning. What's the total at? 215. And I got what? 226. Let me see. Maybe it's like the other one there. I want to make sure I got the right. Yeah. What's the total I'm seeing here? 230. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with our line feed. Right here it's showing 215, but we have 230 here. So I think the under is where I'm leaning here, guys, on tonight's game between the Kings and the Clippers. All right, guys, a lot of games tonight. That's why it took so long to get through them. But you know what? I enjoy doing these videos. I hope I can help you guys. Sometimes when you do these videos, people are watching to see what you got to say on that one game because they probably like one side. If they respect you, they want to see what you think. And hopefully I was able to help you either, give you a lean or get off the game or go the other way. You never know, right? So don't forget, guys, you can get the free Raymond Report right here at ATS Stats. Go to ATSStats.com, go to NBA free report, and take a read on how the Raymond Report works, what everything stands for. It gives you an idea of the mindset of how this was developed. And remember, percentage play, value, and cycles. Everything runs in cycles, right? And value, you don't want to overpay or underpay for something. Well, I don't want to overpay for something. If I can underpay for something, sure, if it's worth the value. But and then the cycles, keep an eye. What goes up must come down, and nobody wins and nobody loses forever. All right, guys, have yourself a great rest of your January 20th, your hump day. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report.